Hey guys, if you look behind me here, we got a full-blown build going on. I wanted to share the process of me building this building, and it's the second one I've ever built, and I actually learned most of the stuff I do from YouTube as far as carpentry wise, and my father-in-law, he's a carpenter, and I figured I'd share with you what I've learned a little bit anyway. Hey, thanks for watching, and let's get with it. Hey guys, like I said, thanks for watching. So I'm getting my first wall laid out here, and this is the most important wall because it's going to have a 5-foot door in it and two 24 by 30 inch rough opening windows. I laid out the top and bottom plates and marked them at the same time, and there's plenty of videos on YouTube how to do that. And then I cut all of my what they call jack studs for the header plates. I cut all those 81 1/4 inches. You see I had my little helper Graceland, my oldest daughter, and Mama's out there with Kaisley Page, who's only 3 weeks old. So I got all my headers put in, my king studs, jack studs, and I was cutting my cripples. Now I'm putting the cripples in. I didn't actually fully finish framing the windows yet because the lighter the better, and I was picking it up by myself. My wife helped hold it and level it once I got it picked up, which my camera kicked off, and you guys didn't get to see us stand up the first 2 walls. I'm sorry about that, but it kicked off and there's really nothing else you can do about it. Definitely wasn't going to tear the wall back apart just to get footage of it. But Grace said she was building a house too, so she was taking all the end cuts and the cut off pieces and having her a good time. I'm just off camera to the right here. Mom was bringing a snack out for the baby girl and bringing me something to drink, so I got her little table set up so Mama could sit outside with us and get some fresh air. Putting some staples in the staple gun. Going to put some seal foam on the bottom of this. See, on my bottom plate I used a treated 2x4 by 16, and the rest of it's just whitewood. See, I didn't get it kicked off and you didn't get to see me stand and level the front and back walls. But so next morning my father-in-law came over, and he has been a carpenter for 30 years, but his back's out. His back's bothering him real bad, so he just come over to kind of give me some pointers, and he helped. He helped me a lot. He packed some wood. His back bothers him bad. He has trouble bending and picking stuff up, so we put him on light duty. But it was good to have what help he gave me. I did appreciate. Here you see me marking out my top and bottom plates. You can lay them. You need to cut them off to a true what size you need because the wood comes a little longer than what it's supposed to be. I mark top and bottom plates and then use my square to mark across, that way they both match. And then I'll lay my wall out, lay the studs in there where they're supposed to go. I got in a little bit of a hurry and started shooting before I laid them out. You see me, I tried to struggle with just kicking them out of the way, but I was like, hey, let's do it the right way. You lay them out, it makes it much easier. Then you go back. I put 3 nails in each stud on each side, so 6 nails per stud. I did all the walls on 16-inch centers, and I'll do the rafters on 16-inch centers also. The building's 10 by 16. I poured the concrete pad myself. I hired a guy to help me screed it and stuff. And my father-in-law usually helps me on projects like that, but like I said, his back's out. Here's the seal I was talking about. You didn't get to see in the other video, but you got to see me put it on there. Here we're just standing the wall and getting it squared up and fastening it to the front and back walls. We did California style framing, I think is what they call this. And here you see us, we're getting our top plates in there. So we taking tile 4 walls together. You run full 10 footers across, and that ties the side walls to the front and back. And then you put you have to cut 7 inches off the 16 footer and put it in between it to fill the gap, and that'd be your top plates. Here you see us getting something to drink, taking a break for a second. I think at this point my father-in-law had to run to Lowe's and get some more wood, and I was getting set up to put the anchors in for anchoring the walls to the concrete pad. I used 1/2-inch anchors, 5.5 inches long, which is kind of overkill. I probably could have did 4.5 because the slab's like 4 to 6 inches thick. It's a little thicker on the back side, but better to have too much than not enough. So I don't make you sit and watch me drill every hole, just the first few. You see me drilling here, and I actually used some Gorilla Glue epoxy on the anchors just to make them even stronger. You don't have to do that, it's not necessary, but a buddy of mine, he did his garage like this, and he said he used this epoxy. So you see I put a picture of it there, what I used. But you just drill the hole, drive those in, and then tighten it up. I think it said to 90 foot-pounds. I just used the wrench and got them where it felt good and snug to me. I would have went back if I ever build more of these buildings like this. Probably get me some kind of little rolling small cart to roll around with all that stuff in it, because dragging that stuff around with you is kind of a headache. But I put 3 in each side wall, 3 in the back wall, and 4 in the front, because you'll have your door swinging on that front wall. So I put an extra one up beside it, each side of the door opening, to try to strengthen that. Here you see I got up there and marked my top plates for rafters, and went down through there 16-inch centers, and we'll have a fly rafter on each end for a 1-foot overhang. So it's a 16-foot wide building, but our ridge beam will be 18 feet long for a foot on each side of overhang. Here my father-in-law, he cut the cross ties for me, and I'll put those on right on the inside, evenly spaced across the building to straighten the walls. So he cut them perfectly 10 foot, which how deep the building is 10 foot. And so I can fasten it to one side and then go to the other side and pull or push to get that flush with the outside of the building. That cross tie keeps it from outward pressure on the walls. Here you see me fastening those. Actually, I stopped for a minute because he started cutting the rafters, and rafters can be confusing, and he's been doing this for years. So whenever I see some knowledge I would like to take in, I took a break and said, "Hey, show me how you're doing that." I actually cut them myself on my building in Stanton, but I don't think I did it the proper way to figure out my bird's mouth and stuff. I just winged it, and it worked out great. The building was great, but I'd like to know the proper way. So here you've seen us hold them up and make sure they was right. And after we knew they was right, you have to cut it 3/4 inch off of the end of each one, and that accounts for 1.5 inch thick ridge beam. Hope that makes sense to you. And you just seen me hold up that little saddle I made, and that's what I'll be putting the ridge beam in by myself. So I made like a little saddle deal to set it in. Here you see me fasten some blocks to fasten the saddle to. Here I'm getting 2x6 by 10s, two of them, fasten them together, and they didn't have 20 footers or 18 footers at Lowe's, so I got two 10 footers, fasten them together, and that will make a long enough ridge beam. I'll have to cut 2 feet off because it's 20 feet long. But here you see me do that. By this point, I worked several hours on it, and it's been a long, hot day. Sweated all day, but it's coming along nicely. I really don't have that many hours in it, and we're getting ready to get it under roof. Here you see me set my ridge beam up. My father-in-law's gone by this point. Set my ridge beam up, and I'll admit I made a mistake here. I forgot to mark the layout on the ridge beam while it was sitting on the sawhorses. That would have made it much easier, but I went ahead and marked it while I was up here. And then I went into putting the rafters on, which you'll see in just a second, and I ended up getting just aggravated. I needed my other ladder, which was at my papa-in-law's. So I ended up calling it quits for the day. This is part 1 of the series. And I do appreciate you guys watching, and we'll be back at it this evening working on it some more, and I'll try to record that for you guys, and we'll get us a part 2 of this build up. You see me standing and looking at it. It's been a long day, but thank the Lord for the day. Y'all have a great day.